Welcome back to another session, another video on my Caribbean and Latin American News Now channel. Thank you so much for joining. Yesterday, I uploaded a video, you didn't watch it. So what are you, wasting my videos? I don't have time to make videos and you don't watch them. I expect that when I upload the videos that you will begin to interact with them, or YouTube will bury the video and destroy the channel. It's very important that you interact with the videos. You were responding very well, and now I've seen where you're not responding to the videos anymore. What's the problem? Are you getting them in your feed? If you're not getting them in your feed, then visit the channel, YouTube channel, Caribbean and Latin American News Daily, and try to interact with the videos. And the video I made yesterday is one of the most important videos I've ever made. And I posted it on the channel because some people did ask me to do that about the New World Order and Mark of the Beast. I did it, and you didn't watch it. You ask for videos, you don't watch it. So what do? Waste my time and, put a video together and then upload it? And no, 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 no. If you don't want to watch a video, don't tell me that you want it and you don't want it. So please go back to the video I published yesterday and watch it. Very important that you do that because you're wasting my time if you don't watch it. What's the purpose of making a video? To have YouTube bury the video in the algorithm system. And notice that many of the videos I make are algorithmic sensitive. In fact, that the algorithm doesn't want those videos to be made, right? They want the superficial, they want the hyped videos to be made. That is what they dispatch to you. So when you see these hundreds of thousands of them, that is what you are mostly watching, because that's where the world is shifting to right now. A superficial world with superficial minds. Okay, so that is what you have to grasp, you have to understand. Okay, now the topic for today is lawyers demand CIA and Kamla reveals US military secrets. Now we know that in the Caribbean waters that Trump has been practicing what international lawyers are calling extrajudicial killing, in which you just shoot or strike and then you ask questions afterwards. That's what he has done with these military strikes on speedboats in the region. And I understand that it could be about 16 boats that he has done such to. And this is in the Caribbean region that we describe as a zone of peace. But are we now a zone of peace, having had the US warships and assets, military assets that are now in the region? And we are seeing the verbal rhetoric coming out of Kamla Persad-Bissessar and Nicolas Maduro, and each, trading words and verbal combats against each other. Okay, are we living in a world now? Can we say confidently so that we are living in a zone of peace, or have we been converted into a zone of war? Very important that we begin to assess these dynamics and the importance of what is happening. All right, so we have lawyers across the Caribbean are calling for full disclosure from Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, the CIA, and US officials after reports of undisclosed US military strikes in the region. As questions mount about foreign intervention and transparency, Caribbean voices are demanding accountability. Where were these US operations authorized, and what role did regional governments play? And we have to ask this question. Did CARICOM or the regional governments, as we're seeing in the case of Trinidad and Tobago, participate? And they are telling us that they did not, and they're just hypocritically saying that we are a zone of peace. We have to explore these things. Is the Caribbean becoming a quiet battleground in the new Cold War? In this report from Caribbean and Latin American News, we break down the legal challenges, the political fallout, and what this means for Caribbean certainty. Be sure to subscribe for in-depth Caribbean and Latin American analysis. The mainstream media won't show you. Very important that you do that. And many of you are trying to destroy the channel by not watching the videos. If you don't watch the videos, the channel is not going to be in existence. Very important that you understand that. So I'm challenging you that you watch the videos. Have no time to waste, quite frankly. Okay, so we are seeing where lawyers are now demanding that Prime Minister Bissessar and the CIA, that's the Central Intelligence Agency, and others release information on US military strikes in the region. Attorneys representing two men believed to have been killed Now, if the attorneys are demanding that two men who have been presumed to have been assumed, to have been alleged to have been killed in a U.S. strike on a boat in the Southern Caribbean are requesting information from the state in relation to the incident, which includes details from the Central Intelligence Agency and Drug Enforcement Agency, the DEA. Now, if they're either dead or alive, they're either dead or alive. So why are we continuing this sort of, discussion and legal actions to be taken against these institutions? First of all, we've got to find out if they're dead or alive. And that is what the first step the lawyers should be engaged in. But I guess the documents will say if they are or not. They also want the particulars of Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar's meeting with the U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, in September. Good luck with that. In a 17-page letter, Attorney Karan and is Ram Kalwan, I don't know how to pronounce that, it's an Indian name, who is representing blogger and social activist Vishal Persad, wrote to Persad-Bissessar, Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara, and Foreign Affairs Minister Sean Sobers, requesting information on 8 items. The information being requested are copies of all legal opinions provided to the 3 relatives on the military strikes in the Caribbean. So they did write these relatives. So why did they suggest that they've died if they did not die? Copies of all minutes and/or records of the meeting held on September 30th between the Prime Minister and U.S. Secretary of State, copies of all minutes and/or records of any meeting held between Persad-Bissessar and Rubio on November 3rd, copies of all reports received from the United States government relative to the military strikes in the Caribbean that began on September 2nd, the location and/or coordinates, longitude and latitude of the military strike that occurred on October 14th, the names of all people killed in the military strikes, records of whether individuals assigned to the CIA and DEA are currently operating, conducting intelligence gathering operations or criminal investigations in the country and under whose authority. I think that's very, very important. Will she or the CIA reveal such to them? I doubt it, because they are going to all cry in the name of national security. They are working in the guise of national security, and if they have to protect us, then they have all rights to withdraw this information and to hold all of this information in secrecy. So I won't hold my breath. Will you? Sober said the government had no information that the 2 men were killed in the U.S. strike and advised the relatives of the men to file missing persons reports with the police. Relatives did so when they visited the police last weekend. On September 2nd, the U.S. began an anti-drug trafficking campaign where several vessels were targeted in kinetic airstrikes. The deadly strikes have been labeled as extrajudicial killings by some, including the New York City Bar Association, according to the attorney. Okay, which they're right. This is extrajudicial killing. International law and domestic laws of these Caribbean countries require that they first be interdicted, that they first be apprehended, arrested, and then you can charge them and then convict them in a court of law. That is standard procedure. But it seems to me that the United States is suggesting that they can come here and change your laws at their whim without the batting of an eye by citizens. We are also complicit by not speaking up, by not writing letters to let our voices be heard. That this cannot be business as usual. This is redefining us and our identity and image as a people. And we can now say that we are warmongers. Remember now that even though we hide behind the veil and suggest that, oh, we are not with our prime ministers and what they're doing, but they represent us, whether we like it or not. And their voices, the voices of our governments, of our prime ministers and presidents, are our voices, whether they are authentic or inauthentic. They represent us. And if they represent us, and they make wrong decisions, erroneous decisions, we stand to suffer the consequences thereof. And that is what we have to understand. So we can sit and say, wow, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. You've got to let your voices be heard. And that is why you have to share videos like these and empower people to understand that this is no normal. We're not living in normal times, and we can't take this normally. Because if we do that, then our children are going to be inheritors of a slave-driven world. They are going to live as slaves, all right? Now, as our foreparents did, or forefathers. The FOIA applicant believes the statements of the Honorable Prime Minister reflect a troubling national ethos, one that now appears to tolerate and even encourage the taking of life in the name of order. That's what it is doing. And I have a video that I have posted on my Rumination News Network in which I compared the policies of, containing crime and violence in El Salvador under the government of Nayib Bukele to what we see happening in the Caribbean region. It is slowly happening. It's not yet at that dramatic stage of what we're seeing in El Salvador, but it's going to get there very soon. It is getting there faster than we imagine. This is the lazy posture of a government that has lost faith in the rule of law and the institutions of justice. First came the declaration of a state of emergency, then an exponential rise in police killings of commissioner of police, which the same thing is happening in Jamaica too, They're claiming, along with the government of Dr. Andrew Michael Holness, who is doing a horrific job in terms of after the Hurricane Melissa, the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. He's just slowly trying to get food to people, but they can just strike drug addicts, right? And interdict drug boats in the Caribbean waters. But they don't have the plane and the drones or whatever they're using to distribute food in Jamaica and life-saving supplies. But they're quicker to kill people, to take life. And they are deliberately managing the chaos in Jamaica. And that is what they're doing in Trinidad right now. They're turning Trinidad into a chaotic state. Because when the state becomes chaotic, then that is how we morph into authoritarianism. Very important that you understand what I'm saying here. This is deep, and you've got to understand it. It's chaos that they're driving us into, that we don't even know our head from our feet. Because we're confused. When you're in chaos, think about a house that is not clean, has not been cleaned for months. It's chaos. You don't know where to begin the cleaning. And when we reach a certain crescendo in terms of if this trend continues, where they're just killing people without trying them, then we are going to reach a state of no return. Very important that you understand what I'm saying in this video, all right? And make sure you're watching it throughout. Like the video, share the video. Like the video. It's not hard to put a like on the video. It's not going to hurt you. It helps you as truth is dispersed to as many people on the platform. Very important that you do that. Now, so the declaration of emergency, then you had an exponential rise in police killings, as you had in Jamaica. Commissioner of Police adorning the Punisher symbol to glorify violence rather than justice, and now an open endorsement to execute persons on the high seas, international waters. That's exactly what they're doing with the complicity of our governments. And then they're saying, oh, the Caribbean is a zone of peace. Now, how can CARICOM issue a statement like that when we have now the 17th or 16th strike, and I think probably over 60, 70 people have died. And then we're still saying we want the Caribbean to remain a zone of peace when it has been now converted into a zone of war. That doesn't make any sense. What the international and the lawyers who have studied international law, the legal experts, the legal scholars in the Caribbean, they should be joining together to denounce the situation and to have the United States stop it. That is what they should do. But they're just articulating some nice sounding words will not change the reality. Because the reality is that we have now been plunged into a war-torn zone. It's going to get worse, but we are at the beginning stages of such. And the more we sit back with folded arms, doing nothing, it's the more that we are going to get to the stage of no return. ¿Comprenden? Espero que ustedes me comprendan. I hope that you understand me. Es muy importante, very, very important that you do that. Que lo hagas, que lo hagan. Now, relatives of both men, through their attorney, said they support the information request. They said the government ought to provide the details of where these strikes are occurring and whatever reports were sent to the Persad-Bissessar administration about the strikes. The lawyers, and I quote, say, "We need some confirmation as to the identities of the persons who were killed on the 14th of October, 2025. Isn't it right that persons who are killing must know who they are killing?" That's the thing, the question I've been asking, unquote. That's the question I've been asking. How can you kill and you don't know who you have killed or whether or not they have died? And we are into many weeks, well, probably 2 weeks now. We're into 2 weeks, and Trinidad and Tobago still cannot confirm whether or not these fishermen died or are still alive. Many rumors, and we still have not arrived at the truth. We are living in a post-pandemic world. We don't know, 5 years into the pandemic, whether it was natural or unnatural. Die or alive, dead, I should say, or alive? That's the question. Free or unfree? That's the question. A zone of peace or a zone of war? That's the question. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that you'd like, share, and subscribe. Like the videos so the videos can be shared with as many people on the platform. People like the videos, watch them throughout. You can't afford to watch a video for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. They are not going, YouTube is going to block the video. So watch the videos throughout so that the information can go to people. I'm not asking you to like the videos because I want you to just like for money. No, that's not the case. It's because I want truth. Well, YouTube is not even paying me a lot of money for doing this anyway. Right? The pranksters and the people who do the foolishness, those are the people who get money, right? The political commentators are getting pittance for what they do. So thank you so much for joining. See you in another one. Ciao.